In the past 19 months, we have seen the return of Sri Lanka's proud traditions of critical debate, free press, and independent civil society. And a parliamentary constitutional reform process is underway to draft a more inclusive and representative social contract for this country. Despite these initial positive steps, there is still much to be done before Sri Lanka can realize its full potential as a global example of how a post-conflict, ethnically diverse society and country can achieve lasting peace. In 8 months, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights will report on the government of Sri Lanka's progress toward implementing its reconciliation and accountability promises made in Geneva last year. We support the government's efforts to meet its commitments made in Geneva, and we will help. We have already seen the government take positive steps with the decision to issue certificates of absence to the families of the missing and to return more land to internally displaced persons. We applaud the establishment in law of an Office of Missing Persons to help families who still grieve and seek answers. We know the government has committed to establish truth and reconciliation and judicial mechanisms to investigate war crimes, to replace the Prevention of Terrorism Act, to charge or release the remaining security-related detainees, dismantle the culture of surveillance, end discrimination against minorities, return more land, boost an open and free society for journalists and civil society, and promote reconciliation and forge a reconciled, united, peaceful, prosperous Sri Lanka. The United States stands ready to support the people and government of Sri Lanka in your shared vision for a reconciled, unified country.
We, the Tamil people, the people who live in Jaffna, are extremely appreciative of the step that has been taken by the American government to provide some relief to our people in an area of very important concern, their medical requirements, because that strengthens the will of our people to face difficulties that they are encountered with, and gives them the confidence and the hope that their future can be better. The resolution adopted by the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva in 2012 was entirely on account of the efforts of the US government. In fact, I'm aware that the US government at the very highest levels played a very important role to ensure the adoption of that resolution in Geneva. That resolution in 2012 was followed by a resolution in 2013, a further resolution in 2014, an international investigation under the auspices of the UN Human Rights Council, and a subsequent resolution in 2015. Sri Lankan government was the co-sponsor of the resolution adopted in 2015. That was a consequence of the change in government that happened in Sri Lanka in January and August 2015. We are now in the process of ensuring the implementation of that resolution, on the basis of which the truth has to be ascertained, justice has to be meted out, there must be reparation for victims, and there must be an assurance of non-recurrence. If there has to be an assurance of non-recurrence, there must be a permanent, acceptable resolution of the conflict in Sri Lanka that has led to all these consequences. Which means that the Constitution of Sri Lanka must be transformed in such a way that all the citizens of Sri Lanka, irrespective of whether they belong to the majority community or to other communities which are numerically in the minority, they're able to live in this country as equal citizens with a sense of justice and equality. Those are the constitutional changes we contemplate. They're absolutely fundamental that there must be a resolution of the conflict in such a way that we are able, with the resolution of the conflict in that manner, to ensure that we will have a peaceful, prosperous, undivided Sri Lanka in which all of us can live together as equal citizens. Meanwhile, Your Excellency, you are aware of the fact that our people are undergoing several difficulties in the matter of retaking possession of their lands, in the matter of finding a finality to the issue of missing persons, in respect of persons in custody who are being held under the Prevention of Terrorism law, which has been accepted as an obnoxious law that must be repealed. Persons are in need of resettlement, rehabilitation, housing, livelihood, and several other facilities to be able to resume normal life. These things are achievable only if there is a proper, coordinated, comprehensive, cohesive plan in terms of which the people who have been displaced both in the north and the east are resettled. We are looking forward to such a plan being brought into existence. Very unfortunately, that has not been done thus far. But I think with the assistance of the international community and with the goodwill of the Sri Lankan government and the willingness of the Sri Lankan government to move forward in this matter in a positive way, this can be achieved. And it is through the implementation of such a program that our people can be resettled with self-respect and dignity and commence to live their lives as happy citizens. We have a long way to go still. The international community, particularly countries like the US, have played a very important role and a very purposeful and meaningful role to ensure that we have come to the present stage. But we have not yet finished our journey. Much distance yet remains to be covered. And we need to cover that distance. We need to progress towards our goal. That is the achievement of permanent peace and harmony, goodwill, and amongst our people on the basis of equality and justice. And to achieve that goal, I think the international community, particularly the United States of America, has an important role to play. We would earnestly urge you to continue to play that role. It is by your continuous efforts to ensure that that goal is achieved, that all the work that we have done thus far, and all the progress that we have achieved thus far, and all the movement towards something positive that has happened in the past can be continued in such a way that we will bring this journey to a happy end.